Hello students, welcome to the classes. In this session, we will start with the chapter D and F block elements. Now, let's see the atomic number, electronic configuration and oxidation states of the 3D series. Here you can see scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium and manganese, and their electronic configurations are given. You can see the chromium has exceptional electronic configuration of 4s1 3d5 instead of 4s2 3d4. Okay, so why? Because half-filled electronic configurations are stable. So D is having capacity of 10, but now here it has 4. If it gets one more, it becomes 5. So capacity is 10. Exactly half of it is what? 5. So if it is half filled also, it becomes very stable. That is why S loses one electron and you get 4s1, 3D gains it, it becomes 3d5. Now this is the stable electronic configuration. And you can see manganese also has very stable electronic configuration of 4s2 and 3d5. That is why manganese shows exceptionally low melting and boiling points. Okay, and here you can see the oxidation state of scandium is what? +3, and the manganese shows the oxidation state of +7, which is highest for 3D series elements. +7 oxidation state is highest for 3D series elements, which is shown by the manganese. Okay, now yes, here you can see the next 5 elements: iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc. Again, copper shows what? The exceptional electronic configuration of 4s1 3d10. Actually, it could have been what? 4s2 3d9. S loses one electron to D and it becomes 4s1 3d10. And here you can see zinc shows electronic configuration of 4s2 3d10 and its common oxidation state is +2. It shows only one oxidation state, that is +2. And zinc is called as pseudo transition element. This is called as pseudo transition element. First of all, D block elements are called as transition elements. That is because they lie between what? Highly ionic S block and highly covalent P block elements, and they D block elements show the transitional properties between S and P block elements. But here zinc is called as pseudo transition. Pseudo means false. Why false transition element? That's because transition elements should have partially filled d orbitals, either in ground state or in common oxidation state. But here D has completely filled what? Oxidation, completely filled d orbital in ground state. If you remove 2 electrons also, it becomes 4s0 3d10. Again completely filled what? D orbital. It will never have partially filled d orbitals. That is why it is called pseudo transition element. In case of copper, you can see common oxidation state of copper is +2. If you remove one electron, 4s, and if you remove one more electron from 3d, it becomes 3d9. Now it is partially filled, so it is transition element. But in case of zinc, it will never show the partially filled d orbitals. That is why it is called pseudo transition element. Right. Now let's see a few exceptional cases. Manganese and technetium, they show very low melting and boiling points. That's because they are very stable due to half-filled electronic configurations and the strength of metallic bonds is very weak. Also, manganese and technetium show exceptional low enthalpy of atomization. What is enthalpy of atomization? To break 1 mole of bonds. To break 1 mole of bonds, how much energy? Okay, when we break 1 mole of bonds, how much energy is released? Okay, so if the bonds are weak, the amount of energy released is also very less. Right, so enthalpy of atomization is very less. Okay, remember one thing, with how much energy they are bonded. When the bonds are broken, that much amount of energy itself is released. Okay, so we can talk enthalpy of atomization by the amount of energy required, needed during bonding, or the amount of energy released when the 1 moles of bonds are broken. Both will be same. Okay, Mn shows exceptional atomic size due to its what? Due to its half-filled electronic configuration. Okay, and Mn and Zn show exceptionally high first ionization enthalpy. That is because they are already very stable due to half filled and completely filled d orbitals. If you want to remove one electron, if you remove one electron, they become unstable. That is why they oppose. So that's why they have high first ionization enthalpy. What is ionization enthalpy? Energy required to remove one electron from the valence shell, the first electron from the valence shell. If you want to remove first electron from the valence shell, you need to provide more energy for Mn and Zn, because if they lose one electron, they become what? Unstable. That is why they don't want to lose one electron. So they fight back. Copper has exceptionally high second ionization enthalpy due to what? Completely filled d subshell. You can see copper electronic configuration is 4s1 3d10. If you remove one electron, you get 3d10 as your valence shell now, because the fourth shell has gone. Now if you want to remove one more electron, d is completely filled. Now if you want to remove one more electron, what happens? It becomes unstable if you remove one electron, because it is stable due to completely filled configuration. So the copper will oppose. You need to provide more energy to remove one electron. That is why it is having what? High second ionization enthalpy. Right. Now coming to the next. Copper has positive standard reduction potential. This is very important, which indicates what? Its inability to displace hydrogen from dilute acids. Copper cannot displace hydrogen from dilute acids. That is because it has what? Standard reduction potential as positive. All other 3D elements except copper have standard reduction potential as negative. Only copper has positive standard reduction potential. Now coming to spin only magnetic moment, formula is given by mu equals to root n into n plus 2. Here n is what? Number of unpaired electrons. N is number of unpaired electrons. Now if there are no unpaired electrons, the compound is what? Or I can say the ion has zero magnetic moment. That is diamagnetic. If it is not having any unpaired electron. Okay, and if it also, if it has no unpaired electrons, then it is also colorless. Only if there are unpaired electrons, there is DD transition possible. There is DD transition possible, and then you will get color. If it has no unpaired electron, then obviously it means what? It is colorless. The ions or the compounds of those d block elements are what? Colorless in those particular oxidation states where there are no unpaired electrons. Oxides with higher oxidation states of metals are acidic in nature, and those with lower oxidation states are basic in nature. Okay, if there are two compounds, if there are two oxides with the same the metal ion, okay, if the metal ion has higher oxidation state, then those oxides are acidic. If the metal ion has lower oxidation state, then those oxides are what? Basic in nature. Now coming to F block elements, and here lanthanide contraction. Okay, this is what? Gradual decrease in the size of what? Size of what? Lanthanide series. Okay, this is called lanthanide contraction. This is because of what? Poor shielding effect of 4f electrons. This is because of poor shielding effect of 4f electrons. Okay, and also because of increase in effective nuclear charge. Right, a consequence of lanthanide contraction is zirconium and hafnium have identical size due to what? Lanthanide contraction. Right. Now let's see a few alloys of iron, stainless steel, okay, nickel steel, alnico, invar steel, nichrome and steel. In stainless steel, The components are iron, carbon, nickel, chromium. Nickel steel, iron and nickel. Alnico, aluminum, nickel, cobalt. Invar steel, okay, iron, nickel and carbon. Nichrome steel, nickel and chromium with iron. And in general steel, we use what? Iron and carbon. And these are the uses of what? The alloys of iron. You can go through it. Right.